Good evening and a very warm welcome to Sunset News. In this half hour, we bring you the latest news, stories from the community, economic indicators, tomorrow's weather and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyo. In the news tonight, looking back at the entire rainy season thus far, the much anticipated rain was finally received over Kunene region, with the most places recording 2 to 3 times the usual amount for the month of March. Equally, the Erongo and southern region received 2 to 4 times the average amount of the rainfall for March, with the exception of these far southwestern areas. According to the Namibia Meteorological Services, the performance of rainfall from Tsunkwe area through the Gem and Aseb was mainly below average, though this can lead to water challenges. The rainfall received to date did not normalize the situation in Omsati and parts of Oshana and western Ohangwena regions. Hence, the risk of crop failure and water availability remains a major concern. Now, in our next story, with the 68th Vintuka Carnival well underway and having started on Wednesday evening with the popular dress-up called Masken Ball, it continued last night with close to a sold-out SKW Hall at the Prince Ball, where the new Vika royal couple Prince Hoseti I and his Princess Maria I were festively announced. Tonight, the Vika will continue with the international evening, followed by the very popular street procession of Umzung going through the town to tomorrow morning. Saturday evening, the youth carnival of Juka will commence, followed on Sunday by the Kiddies Carnival. In our next story, Namibia abstained for the third time during a United Nations vote on Russia. The UN General Assembly voted to suspend Russia from the Geneva-based Human Rights Council on Thursday, with the US-led push garnering 93 votes in favor, while 24 countries voted no and 58 countries abstained. Most countries within the Southern African Development Community abstained. Zimbabwe voted against it, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, Malawi, Mauritius, and the Comoros Island, as well as Seychelles, were in favor of the resolution. Now, moving right along, a study by the mutton sector shows that it will both be feasible and profitable to export processed mutton from farmer meat markets abroad, provided that certain prerequisites within the sectors are met. During the study, CIF markets, the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Norway, and China, as well as a wholesale market in Norway, Lithuania, and the Netherlands, were identified as the most profitable. CIF markets refer to countries that make use of an international shipping agreement where the seller is responsible for shipping cost, insurance, and freight cost, while a consignment is in transit. Now, in our next story, working individuals who wish to change jobs, go on early retirement, or get fired in the process and would like to cash out their retirement benefits might only have until the 1st of October 2022 to do so. According to the new proposed Financial Institution Market Act number 2 of 2021, people resigning after the 1st of October 2022 will only be entitled to 25% of their pension. The proposed law requires compulsory 75% preservation of retirement benefits for people who withdraw from their retirement funds before the prescribed early retirement age of 55 years. The draft regulation will apply to every retirement fund registered under FEMA. According to the Namibian Financial Institution Supervisory Authority CEO Kenneth Matomola, the draft regulation will benefit working individuals by ensuring that they preserve a portion of their retirement saving throughout their working lifetime, as the average life expectancy in Namibia is 65 years. In our next story, the education sector is in crisis. Some schools have more than 100 learners per teacher, while others have not had an accounting and mathematics teacher for 3 years. The Education Ministry is accused of dragging its feet, filling more than 1,000 vacancies, although interviews have been completed and appointments were approved. Edda Bon, acting executive director in the ministry, confirmed that in the Kavango East region, where one teacher was allocated 100 learners, the school management has introduced plans to mitigate the situation, including plantooning. Plantooning refers to the departmentalized schools in which the learners of each grade are organized into teams that take turns using one classroom. In community news tonight, we focus on a story of Spencer Mandela Nakale, who has been missing for close to 18 months. We'll be right back after the break.
Go far with Paratus. Go further with Paratus Fiber. Paratus, offering high-speed, reliable fiber connectivity, starting from only 599 Namibian dollars per month. Unlimit your lifestyle and visit na.paratus.africa for more information.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Welcome back to Sunset News. Now, in community talk, Spencer Mandela Nakale has been missing for close to 18 months. His grieving parents have not lost hope for answers, despite the anguish of not having him by their side. Here is the latest, plus information from an interview clip from last year. This clip was compiled by Yana Marie Smith.
Spencer Mandela Nakale vanished without a trace more than 1 year ago on 28 December 2020. That day changed the lives of his bereaved parents, Julia and Nelson, forever. The police's efforts to trace Nelson and to find out what happened to him have been fruitless. Heartbroken mother Julia recently confirmed to news outlets that she had consulted a South African psychic. The psychic, who published her findings on her Facebook page under Unsolved Cases hosted by psychic medium Diva, concluded that Nelson is no longer alive. A sketch she prepared of the alleged location of his body has been provided to the police. In an interview with Julia Nelson conducted late last year, the couple shared their anguish and their sincere wish for answers, but most of all for their son to come home. Here is a recap of that interview.
Since December, everything just went down. Like, I don't even know what is the meaning of life anymore.
And since that day, my life is normal. I'm no more the person I used to be. It really affects me emotionally. But I need to be strong so that I can fight until I see my boy again.
For those months, it's just, I feel empty inside. I'm just there filled with anger, pain, heartache, regret. That's all that has been going on.
I really miss him and I need him by my side.
Some days I feel like maybe he's still somewhere Then one day he will come back. Other days, I don't know. I just feel like maybe this is the end of it, or I don't know.
I just wish to get a gift of me to see him again. That is all I wish. I wish to see him and hug him, because this thing cannot go on just like that. I still have a hope that one day I will meet him, because this I'm a Shivambo speaker. In Shivambo, they said "omunu ihakana" means that the person can never disappear without any trace. We have to find him, because the kid does not only belong to a parent, like to a father and mother, but to the community and to the public also. Spencer is my boy, but he's also a Namibian. We must protect our people, our kids.
In our story of the day, Yolanda Nell talks to Angela Prusa of the Cannabis and Hemp Association of Namibia. We'll be right back after the break.
Have you received a loan from NASFAF? NASFAF loan is the same as any other loan. It must be paid and settled. NASFAF has a set of guidelines on how you can repay your loan and become debt-free. Therefore, it is important that you, a former beneficiary and a responsible Namibian, show your patriotism by helping pay back your loan and thus helping NASFAF become a revolving fund for the benefit of future potential students. By failing to pay back your NASFAF loan, you risk being blacklisted or having a court order against you. So arrange with the fund to pay back your loan today. For more information on how you can repay your loan, visit our website at www.nasfaf.na or visit our Facebook page or Twitter. Do the right thing and hashtag payback the money.
Thank you very much for joining Sunset News. In the story of the day, Yolanda Nell talks to Angela Prusa of the Cannabis and Hemp Association of Namibia about the fact that Namibia already has a cannabis market that is being underutilized because it is not yet legal.
If Namibia misses this bus, there's going to be more African countries legalizing the use of cannabis and hemp, and we're going to miss out on a lot of things because, let's just face it, we're probably going to import all these products at the end of the day in any case.
Yes, which we are already doing. You know, that's the other thing. It's so one of the things that people always are really scared of when we talk about legalization of cannabis is like, oh my God, we're not ready for this. Like, what's going to happen? The streets are going to be filled with cannabis. We are already utilizing cannabis. We are getting truckloads and truckloads from, of cannabis coming from Angola, coming from South Africa that's being imported. The demand is here. We see this in the amount of cannabis that's being confiscated every time there's a cannabis bust. These are truckloads with tons of cannabis on them. It's not, it's not a few bankies, it's kilograms. So the demand is there, we're importing it. We already have a cannabis economy. It's underground, but imagine, the potential if we can legalize that and regulate it, so that people can actually grow the plant and we create the products in our country, for our people. And that's the issue, and that's the worry of that potential happening, that we then start to import. This is what happened in South Africa, for example, with Hemporium got a license in the 90s for creating hemp products, plastics, papers, textiles, bricks, oils, salves, ropes, you know, you name it, shoes, everything that you can make everything from hemp. But they couldn't plant it, so they had to import the hemp from Europe. And so this is where now is the time, basically. Now is the time, and so it's important for communities, you know, agricultural sectors, boereverenigings, you know, farmers associations, indigenous knowledge practitioners, you know, indigenous plant medicine practitioners, to all come together and to demand that the government, you know, legalize, because it is for the benefit of our country.
After the break, we have a look at economic indicators. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sunset News. Let's have a look at economic indicators. The Namibian dollar is down next to the yuan and up against other major currencies. On the NSX, MTC stock held its ground while Namibia Breweries took another dip, down by 4.70%. Both the local and the overall indexes closed down 1.14% and 0.47% respectively. Looking at commodities, gold, copper and zinc are up while Brent crude oil is down 0.5%. After the break, we take a look at tomorrow's weather predictions. Thank you for choosing Sunset News this evening. And here is the weekend's weather prediction. On Saturday, Enana is again one of the hottest in the country with a 38-degree maximum, while Gobabes can expect thunderstorms and a minimum of 13 degrees. Aranos and Luderitz will be sunny with a maximum temperature of 34 degrees and 26 degrees respectively. Looking at Sunday's forecast, Katima can expect thunderstorms and a minimum of 18 degrees, while Windhoek is sunny with a 29-degree maximum. Now, finally, Hentisbay and Swakopmund can anticipate partly cloudy conditions and a maximum temperature of 21 degrees in both towns. Now, in the international news slot, we focus on Germany receiving pressure on Europe to cut dependence with Russia. More after the break. Welcome back to Sunset News, and here is international news. Ukraine's ambassador to Berlin accused the German government of half-hearted support for Kyiv and said his country had become a victim of Germany's shameful energy dependence on Russia. It's not just Russian gas, it's oil, coal, metals, diamonds, and other raw materials. Ukraine have become the biggest victim of this perverted relationship. Ukrainians are paying for this failed German policy with their lives, Andriy Melnik told Reuters on Friday. His comments underscore a growing frustration in Kyiv with the government of German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who has pledged support and backed some sanctions against Russia over its 6-week-old invasion of Ukraine, but drag its heels where experts believe it most counts: an energy embargo. This kind of hypocrisy with Russia dates back to Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline, said Melnik. Germany's huge dependence on Russia at a time of worst aggression since the Second World War is shameful. After the German government puts its highly contested new gas pipeline from Russia, Nord Stream 2, on hold after the invasion, there have been calls unheeded in Berlin to shut down Nord Stream 1, which has funneled Russian gas to Germany since 2011. This week, the European Union agreed to further sanction on Russia, including a coal embargo, but that measure was watered down by Germany. The EU Commission had initially proposed a wind down of 3 months. That was extended to 4 months, said sources familiar with the discussion, following pressure mostly from Germany, the EU's main importer of Russian coal. Scholz said Germany would need the full 4 months to implement the ban. Pressure is mounting on Germany. Veronica Grimm said, one of the government's chief economic experts that advises the Chancellery, said Germany should harden its stance. After the break, we bring you sports news. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sunset News, and here is sports news. The FIFA Normalization Committee are yet to touch base on the future and role of Namibia Football Association Secretary General Franco Cosmos. NC spokesperson Baisi Uirabe has revealed. Uirabe has promised the media that the Normalization Committee will disclose its position on the matters concerning the SG once it reaches that point. Uirabe and his committee this week held several marathon meetings with the employees of the association, but are allegedly yet to dwell on the Secretary General, who normally runs the daily affairs of the association. In FIFA's letter that announced the appointment of the NC, the world governing football body claimed to have observed that the attitude and role played by the Secretary General had largely contributed to the stronger division amongst the members of the executive community. In our next story, the Namibia Rugby Union League continues this weekend with exciting clashes as Namibia Media Holding TV, social media and online platforms are set to screen the match at Suburbs Park live from 1:30 p.m. Namibia Media Holdings DSTV Channel 285 and GoTV Channel 94 will be at the Suburbs Park to broadcast the matches between the FNB Western Suburbs and Trasco United A and B teams. The match will also be screened on screened on Sports Republican, the Namibian Sun Facebook pages. The featured games of the weekend will kick off at 3:45 p.m. with both teams looking to redeem themselves from last weekend's losses. In our next story, AC Boxing Promotions have all systems set as they prepare for their boxing bonanza, which is slated for Saturday at the Nampower Convention Center. AC founder and promoter Ims Moses is inviting all to come in their numbers for the boxing event. The bonanza will see boxers like Flames Nangolo, Harry Simon Jr. and many others are lined up for the fight. Now, after the break, we take a look at tonight's highlights. Stay with us. Happy Friday. If you didn't get a chance to catch up on our top stories tonight, here are some of the highlights. Looking back at the entire rainy season thus far, the much anticipated rain was finally received over the Kunene region, with most places recording 2 to 3 times the usual amount of the month of March. Equally, the Erongo and southern regions received 2 to 4 times the average amount of rainfall for March, with exception of the southwestern areas. Working individuals who wish to change jobs, go on early retirement or get fired in the process and would like to cash out their retirement benefits might only have until the 1st of October 2022 to do so, according to the new proposed Financial Institution and Markets Act No. 2 of 2021. People resigning after the 1st of October will only be entitled to 25% of their pension. The proposed law requires compulsory 75% preservation of retirement benefits for people who withdraw their retirement funds before the prescribed early retirement age of 55 years. The education sector is in a crisis. Some schools have more than 100 learners per teachers, while others have not had accounting and mathematics teachers for 3 years. The Ministry of Education is accused of dragging its fleet, filling more than 1,000 vacancies, although interviews have been completed and appointments were approved. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's broadcast. Make sure to join Sunset News on Facebook on all of NMA's platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, which is called OneUp2. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. I am Aina Raiza Koyo, and this has been Sunset News. Please don't end your day without us. Happy Friday.